Hey, CBC, Pastor Scott here. If you're able to join us for our live stream on Sunday, you heard Pastor Brett share a great message kicking off our series, Built to Last, Rhythms for a Resilient Faith. This series is looking at different rhythms and different habits that we can employ in our lives to strengthen and bolster our faith for everything that we might face. And Brett shared with us the idea of daily devotion, how kind of that daily time with God, chair time, quiet time, whatever you call it, how that really provides the foundation that we need to have a resilient faith. And this week, we're going to be talking about a really central component of that devotional life, and that is prayer. And you may be asking yourself, why are you sitting in your car? Why are you doing this video from your car? And like me, maybe you're having a hard time finding some space to be quiet and to be alone during quarantine life. I can close the door on our bedroom, but our 3-year-old daughter, Clara, will come barging in. I can close the door on the bathroom, and our 3-year-old daughter, Clara, will come barging in. So maybe the car might be the only place to have some silence and some quiet to really be with God. And that's what prayer is. It's an invitation just to be with God, to be present with God. Sometimes with words, sometimes with requests, sometimes with thanking God or praising God. And sometimes prayer is just that silent space to be quiet, to be present with God. And we actually see that in our passage from Exodus 33. Moses has been leading God's people out of Egypt. They've actually come to Mount Sinai, and then they had the situation with the golden calf where they disobey God and they bow down to this cow. And God's anger relents. He says he's not going to destroy the people. And Moses has a conversation with God. He just wants to make sure that God is going to continue to be present with his people. And after he's sure that God will be present, Moses has a request to see God's glory, because he wants to experience God's glory and experience intimacy with God. So let's take a look at Exodus chapter 33, beginning in verse 12. Moses said to the Lord, "You have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. If you are pleased with me, teach me your way so I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people." The Lord replied, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Then Moses said to him, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth?" And the Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you and I know you by name." Then Moses said, "Now show me your glory." And the Lord said, "I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. But," he said, "you cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live." Then the Lord said, "There is a place near me where you may stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft in the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen." This passage always makes me think of the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like if Moses had seen all of God's glory, but his face had melted like all those dudes. But it's not really about face melting. It's really about intimacy. Because Moses, he's sure, says, God says, "Moses, I'll be with you. My presence will be with you." And Moses says, I don't just want you to be present. Like, I want to know you. I want to see you. I want to know you as well as I can. So he says, "Show me your glory." Moses is basically asking God, I want to know you better. I want to know you more deeply. I want to know you more intimately. And that's what prayer affords us. It's the opportunity to know God more intimately. And that's why I like the idea of kind of being silent in prayer. I start off a lot of my quiet times with just 10 minutes of silence before God. Not trying to fill up the space with all my words, not trying to fill up the space with all my requests, but simply just sitting and being in the presence of God. Now, sometimes there are distractions. You just try to let them float by like clouds in the sky. But it's really trying to focus and be present with God. I've heard a great analogy that it's kind of like a couple who's been married for 50 years, and that they can just sort of sit in silence and be present with each other. They don't need words. They don't need actions. They're just content to sit in silence and be together. And that's the kind of intimacy that I want with God. Just to sit in his presence and to be content, to be happy, to still my soul long enough just to let all the worries and cares and concerns just fade away for a moment, just to have that silence. And if I'm being honest, it's been tough to find that, not just because the only quiet place I can find is my car, but just because life has been so crazy lately. I haven't been sitting in silence with God. I haven't been pursuing intimacy. My devotional life has been a little shaky. And so I'm challenged. I'm encouraged by this series to get back into those rhythms, because I know those rhythms will give me a resilient faith. Those rhythms will help me face all the challenges that life has. And I know that those rhythms will do the same for you. And so maybe this week, maybe today, it's just that rhythm of prayer, and maybe not just throwing out all your requests or filling that space, but maybe it's just that rhythm of silence, just to sit in God's presence, to pursue intimacy like an old married couple, just sitting with God, totally content to be with him. Maybe he'll say something to you, maybe he won't, but you know you'll have been better just for the time that you spent with God. So maybe try that today. Maybe set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 8 minutes, or maybe just 2 minutes is all you can handle. Maybe 2 minutes is all the silence you can get in your house. But find a quiet place, maybe it's in your car, and just sit silently with God, trusting that as you spend that time with him, he will comfort you, he will meet you, he will reveal his glory to you in the exact way that you need it today. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you like these videos and all the reading delivered to you, please go to findcommunity.com/Bible reading. We'll be back tomorrow with another reading and another video. Have a great day. Love you guys.